The orange shag carpet, wood paneling, and avocado green appliances tell only half the story of 1970s America. The other half sits forgotten on dinner plates that once graced millions of tables across the country. These meals defined a generation, fed families through economic uncertainty, and created memories that lasted lifetimes. Yet today, they've vanished like disco balls in storage closets. Beef stroganoff. Every suburban mom had her secret stroganoff recipe, and every family gathered around the table when the rich, creamy aroma filled the house. This Russian-inspired dish became the crown jewel of American dinner parties, transforming tough cuts of beef into tender, luxurious meals that made families feel fancy on a budget. The magic happened in one pan. Strips of beef swimming in a velvety mushroom and sour cream sauce, served over egg noodles that soaked up every drop. Hostesses served it with pride, knowing it would impress guests while stretching grocery dollars. The dish required patience, skill, and timing, qualities that reflected the era's approach to homemaking. Today's fast-paced world has little room for the slow, simmering, and careful attention that made stroganoff special. Before we move on to the next meal, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps a small channel like this grow. Tuna Casserole. The humble tuna casserole fed more American families than any other single dish in the 1970s, transforming pantry staples into comfort food that satisfied hungry kids and tired parents alike. 2 cans of tuna, a bag of egg noodles, cream of mushroom soup, and frozen peas created dinner magic that cost less than $5 to feed a family of 6. Mothers topped it with crushed potato chips or breadcrumbs, creating a golden crust that crackled under the broiler. The dish represented resourcefulness and creativity, showing how ordinary ingredients could become extraordinary when combined with love and necessity. Church potlucks, school fundraisers, and family reunions featured countless variations, each cook adding their own twist to the basic formula. Modern health consciousness and fresh food movements have pushed this economical marvel to the sidelines of culinary memory. Liver and onions. The mere mention of liver and onions once sent children running from dinner tables. Yet this iron-rich powerhouse remained a weekly staple in health-conscious households throughout the decade. Mothers knew that beef liver provided essential nutrients that growing bodies needed, even if convincing kids required negotiation, bribery, or stern lectures about finishing plates. The key to success lay in proper preparation, soaking liver in milk to remove the metallic taste, then coating it lightly in flour before pan-frying with sweet, caramelized onions. Smart cooks added bacon fat for extra flavor, creating a dish that satisfied even the most reluctant eaters. The combination of tender liver and golden onions provided a complete meal that cost pennies per serving. Today's squeamish attitudes toward organ meats have relegated this nutritional champion to the pages of forgotten cookbooks. Pineapple upside-down cake. Every dinner party in the 1970s ended with a dramatic presentation of pineapple upside-down cake, a dessert that combined tropical fruit with old-fashioned American baking techniques. The spectacle began when the hostess flipped the cast-iron skillet, revealing perfect circles of golden pineapple arranged like sunshine on top of moist, buttery cake. Maraschino cherries nestled in the center of each ring, creating a colorful pattern that made everyone at the table smile. The caramelized brown sugar created a glossy glaze that caught the light from overhead fixtures, making the cake look like edible jewelry. Families gathered around as someone cut the first slice, revealing the tender cake beneath the fruit topping. The combination of sweet and tangy flavors, along with the theatrical presentation, made this dessert the perfect ending to special meals. Chicken a la king. Restaurants across America served chicken a la king as their signature dish, transforming leftover poultry into elegant dinners that made diners feel sophisticated and satisfied. The creamy white sauce contained chunks of tender chicken, bright green peas, and colorful diced pimentos, creating a dish that looked as good as it tasted. Chefs served it over toast points, rice, or puff pastry shells, giving diners options that made every meal feel customized and special. The dish originated in upscale hotels, but found its way into home kitchens, where creative cooks adapted the recipe using cream of chicken soup and frozen vegetables. Sunday dinners often featured chicken, a la king made from Saturday's roasted bird, stretching one chicken into multiple meals. The rich, comforting flavors satisfied families during cold winter months, when hearty food provided both nutrition and emotional warmth. Beef Wellington. Ambitious home cooks attempted beef Wellington for special occasions, turning their kitchens into French restaurants for one magical evening. The dish required skill, timing, and confidence, wrapping a perfectly seared beef tenderloin in mushroom duxelles and flaky puff pastry, then baking it to golden perfection. Success meant tender beef surrounded by earthy mushrooms and buttery pastry that shattered at the touch of a fork. Failure meant overcooked meat or soggy pastry, but the risk made victory even sweeter. Dinner guests watched in anticipation as the host sliced through the golden crust, revealing the pink interior that proved culinary mastery. The dish represented the height of 1970s entertaining, when hosts went to extraordinary lengths to impress their friends. Modern busy lifestyles have little patience for such elaborate preparations, leaving this showstopper to professional chefs and cooking shows. Salisbury Steak. Frozen TV dinners introduced millions of Americans to Salisbury steak, but homemade versions elevated this comfort food to family favorite status throughout the decade. Ground beef, mixed with breadcrumbs, eggs, and seasonings, formed oval patties that looked like miniature steaks, satisfying meat and potatoes appetites without breaking the bank. The secret lay in the gravy, a rich, brown sauce made from pan drippings, beef broth, and caramelized onions that transformed simple ingredients into something special. Mothers served it with mashed potatoes and green beans, creating complete meals that filled hungry stomachs and warm hearts. The dish bridged the gap between fancy restaurant food and everyday family dinners, giving children a taste of sophistication they could understand. Fast food and processed meals have replaced this homemade comfort food, leaving Salisbury steak as a nostalgic memory of simpler times. Shrimp cocktail. Every fancy dinner party began with shrimp cocktail, an elegant appetizer that made hosts feel like they were running upscale restaurants in their own dining rooms. Large, cold shrimp arranged around crystal bowls filled with tangy cocktail sauce provided the perfect start to special meals. The ritual of eating shrimp cocktail, holding each piece delicately, dipping it carefully, and savoring the sweet, briny flavor, set the tone for sophisticated evenings. Hostesses spent hours preparing the shrimp, cleaning, cooking, and chilling them to perfection while making homemade cocktail sauce from ketchup, horseradish, lemon juice, and Worcestershire sauce. The appetizer represented luxury and refinement, showing guests that the evening would be memorable and special. Modern casual dining has eliminated the formality that made shrimp cocktail feel like a special occasion, reducing it to a menu item rather than a celebration. Quiche Lorraine. The quiche revolution of the 1970s brought French sophistication to American brunch tables, with Quiche Lorraine leading the charge as the most popular variation. Eggs, cream, and cheese combined in a delicate custard that filled buttery pastry shells, creating meals that worked equally well for breakfast, lunch, or light dinner. Bacon pieces added smoky flavor and protein, while the silky texture made every bite feel luxurious and satisfying. Brunch parties featured multiple quiches with different fillings, allowing hosts to showcase their culinary creativity while feeding crowds efficiently. The dish represented the era's fascination with European cuisine and the growing trend of entertaining at home. Professional women embraced quiche as a sophisticated meal they could prepare ahead of time, fitting their busy schedules while maintaining their image as accomplished hostesses. Chicken Kiev. Restaurant menus across America featured chicken Kiev as their most impressive entree, challenging diners to cut carefully to avoid the butter explosion that made this dish famous. Boneless chicken breasts wrapped around herbed butter, then breaded and fried to golden perfection, created a dish that combined technique with theatricality. The moment of truth came with the first cut. Done properly, the melted butter would flow out slowly, creating a rich sauce that enhanced every bite. Adventurous home cooks attempted to recreate restaurant magic in their own kitchens, with varying degrees of success and occasional kitchen disasters. The dish represented the height of culinary sophistication, requiring skill, patience, and attention to detail that separated good cooks from great ones. Modern food safety concerns and busy lifestyles have made this elaborate preparation seem unnecessary and risky. Tuna Melt. The Tuna Melt bridged the gap between casual lunch and comfort dinner, providing a warm, satisfying meal that felt more substantial than a regular sandwich. Tuna salad mixed with mayonnaise, celery, and onions spread on toasted bread, then topped with cheese and broiled until bubbly and golden. The combination of creamy tuna, melted cheese, and crispy bread created textures and flavors that satisfied both children and adults. Diners, coffee shops, and home kitchens all serve their own versions, making the tuna melt a universal comfort food that brought people together. The dish worked for any meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and required minimal cooking skills while delivering maximum satisfaction. Fast food and pre-made meals have replaced this simple pleasure, leaving the tuna melt as a nostalgic reminder of when comfort food meant something made with care. Meatloaf. Every family had their own secret meatloaf recipe, passed down through generations and modified according to personal taste and available ingredients. Ground beef mixed with breadcrumbs, eggs, and seasonings, then shaped into a loaf and baked until golden brown, created meals that fed large families economically and nutritiously. The genius lay in the endless variations. Some cooks added vegetables, others used different meats, and creative mothers hid healthy ingredients that children would normally reject. A shiny glaze made from ketchup, brown sugar, and mustard added color and flavor that made the humble loaf look special and appetizing. Leftover meatloaf became sandwiches the next day, extending one dinner into multiple meals. Modern convenience foods and changing family structures have reduced the need for this economical family favorite. Swedish meatballs. Holiday parties and special dinners featured Swedish meatballs as sophisticated finger food that elevated ordinary ground beef into elegant appetizers. Small, perfectly round meatballs swimming in creamy gravy provided rich, satisfying bites that disappeared quickly from serving platters. The secret to authentic Swedish meatballs lay in the mixture, combining ground beef with pork, breadcrumbs soaked in milk, and a blend of spices that created complex flavors in every bite. Hostesses served them with toothpicks, allowing guests to eat elegantly while mingling and socializing. The dish required patience and skill to form uniform meatballs and create the perfect cream sauce, but the results impressed everyone who tasted them. Modern party foods focus on convenience rather than homemade quality, leaving Swedish meatballs as a memory of more labor-intensive entertaining. Chicken Cordon Bleu. Ambitious home cooks tackled chicken cordon bleu for special occasions, transforming simple ingredients into restaurant-quality meals that impressed family and friends. Flattened chicken breasts, wrapped around ham and Swiss cheese, then breaded and baked until golden, created elegant dinners that looked far more complicated than they actually were. The key to success lay in proper technique, pounding the chicken thin enough to roll without tearing, securing the filling with toothpicks, and timing the cooking to achieve crispy coating and juicy interior. Dinner guests felt pampered when served this sophisticated dish, which combined familiar flavors in an elevated presentation. The meal represented the era's desire to bring restaurant experiences home, creating special occasions around the family table. Today's busy schedules have little room for such elaborate preparations, relegating cordon bleu to special restaurant occasions. Deviled eggs. No party, picnic, or family gathering was complete without a platter of deviled eggs, their bright yellow centers dotted with paprika, creating colorful additions to any spread. Hard-boiled eggs halved and filled with a mixture of yolks, mayonnaise, mustard, and seasonings provided protein-rich appetizers that satisfied hungry guests while they waited for main courses. Creative cooks added ingredients like pickle relish, bacon bits, or herbs to create signature variations that became their trademark contributions to potluck dinners. The preparation required patience and skill to achieve smooth, creamy fillings and perfectly cooked eggs, but the results pleased everyone from children to grandparents. These portable appetizers traveled well to outdoor events and kept without refrigeration longer than many other party foods. Modern concerns about mayonnaise-based foods and busy lifestyles have reduced the popularity of this labor-intensive favorite. Beef Burgundy. Sophisticated dinner parties featured beef Burgundy as the pinnacle of French-inspired cooking, transforming inexpensive cuts of beef into elegant meals worthy of special occasions. The dish required time and patience, slowly braising beef in red wine with mushrooms, onions, and herbs until the meat became fork tender and the sauce developed deep, complex flavors. Home cooks felt accomplished when they successfully recreated restaurant-quality Burgundy in their own kitchens, serving it with pride to impress guests. The rich, wine-infused sauce paired perfectly with egg noodles or mashed potatoes, creating complete meals that satisfied the heartiest appetites. Preparation began hours before guests arrived, filling the house with tantalizing aromas that built anticipation for the meal to come. Modern, fast-paced lifestyles have little patience for such time-intensive cooking, leaving beef Burgundy to professional chefs and special occasion restaurants. Chicken Divan. Chicken Divan represented the height of casserole sophistication, combining tender chicken with broccoli in a rich cheese sauce that transformed simple ingredients into company-worthy meals. The dish layered flavors and textures: succulent chicken, bright green broccoli, and creamy Mornay sauce topped with breadcrumbs and cheese, then baked until golden and bubbly. Hostesses served it at luncheons and informal dinners, knowing it could be prepared ahead of time and reheated without losing quality or appeal. The combination of protein and vegetables in one dish satisfied both nutritional needs and busy schedules, making it popular with working mothers and entertaining wives. The elegant presentation made family dinners feel special, elevating everyday meals into memorable occasions. Health-conscious eating and fresh food movements have pushed this creamy comfort food to the margins of modern cooking. Veal Parmesan. Italian-American restaurants made Veal Parmesan their signature dish, and adventurous home cooks attempted to recreate the magic in their own kitchens with varying degrees of success. Tender veal cutlets pounded thin, breaded, and fried until golden, then topped with marinara sauce and melted cheese, created meals that satisfied both Italian food cravings and American comfort food needs. The dish required skill and timing, achieving crispy coating while keeping the delicate veal moist and tender, challenged even experienced cooks. Success meant restaurant-quality meals at home, impressing family and friends with sophisticated flavors and elegant presentation. The expensive veal made this a special occasion dish, reserved for celebrations and important dinners when hosts wanted to create lasting impressions. Modern ethical concerns about veal production and high costs have made this once popular dish increasingly rare in both restaurants and home kitchens. Lobster Thermidor. The ultimate special occasion dish, Lobster Thermidor transformed the already luxurious crustacean into an even more elegant and sophisticated meal that impressed the most discerning dinner guests. Fresh lobster meat, mixed with rich cream sauce, mushrooms, and cheese, then stuffed back into the shells and broiled until golden, created presentations that looked like they belonged in the finest restaurants. The dish required significant skill, expense, and time, making it reserved for the most important celebrations and romantic dinners. Home cooks who successfully prepared Thermidor felt a tremendous sense of accomplishment, knowing they had mastered one of the most challenging dishes in classic cuisine. The combination of sweet lobster meat and rich, creamy sauce created flavors that lingered in memory long after the meal ended. Modern casual dining and high seafood costs have made this elaborate preparation seem unnecessarily complicated and expensive. Stuffed pork chops. Thick pork chops, cut with pockets and filled with savory stuffing, created hearty dinners that satisfied meat and potatoes families while adding sophistication to ordinary weeknight meals. The stuffing combined breadcrumbs, herbs, vegetables, and seasonings, creating complementary flavors that enhanced the natural taste of the pork. Careful cooking ensured the chops remained juicy while the stuffing reached safe temperatures, requiring skill and attention that separated good cooks from great ones. The presentation impressed dinner guests, making simple pork chops look like restaurant-quality entrees, worthy of special occasions. Families gathered around tables set with good china when stuffed pork chops appeared on the menu, recognizing the extra effort required to create such elaborate meals. Modern busy schedules and concerns about pork safety have made this time-intensive dish less appealing to contemporary cooks who prefer simpler, faster preparations. Eggs Benedict. Weekend brunches and special breakfast occasions featured Eggs Benedict as the ultimate indulgent morning meal, combining multiple components into one spectacular dish. Perfectly poached eggs perched on Canadian bacon and toasted English muffins, then crowned with hollandaise sauce that required skill and confidence to prepare properly. The dish challenged home cooks to master several techniques simultaneously, poaching eggs without breaking yolks, timing all components to finish together, and creating smooth, creamy hollandaise that could make or break the entire meal. Success meant restaurant-quality brunch at home, impressing family and friends with sophisticated flavors and elegant presentation. The rich, luxurious combination of eggs, meat, and butter sauce created indulgent meals that made ordinary mornings feel like special celebrations. Modern health consciousness and busy morning schedules have reduced the appeal of such rich, time-intensive breakfast preparations. Ham with pineapple. Holiday dinners and special occasions featured glazed ham, topped with pineapple rings and maraschino cherries, creating centerpieces that fed large gatherings while providing impressive presentations. The combination of salty ham with sweet pineapple created flavor contrasts that pleased both children and adults, making it a universal crowd pleaser for family celebrations. The visual appeal was undeniable. Golden ham studded with colorful fruit created Instagram-worthy presentations decades before social media existed. Preparation required planning and patience, with hours of slow cooking, followed by careful glazing and broiling to achieve the perfect finish. The leftovers provided sandwiches and soup ingredients for days afterward, extending the value of one expensive centerpiece into multiple meals. Modern smaller families and casual entertaining have reduced the need for such elaborate preparations, leaving glazed ham as a nostalgic memory of more formal holiday celebrations. Beef fondue. Fondue parties brought Swiss Alpine traditions to American dining rooms, creating interactive meals that turned dinner into entertainment and social events. Hot oil bubbled in special pots while diners cooked their own pieces of beef, controlling the doneness according to personal preference. The ritual of fondue eating, selecting perfect pieces of meat, cooking them carefully, and dipping them in various sauces, created memorable experiences that lasted long after the meal ended. Multiple sauces provided variety and personalization, allowing each diner to create their own flavor combinations and culinary adventures. The social aspect made fondue perfect for entertaining, encouraging conversation and interaction while everyone participated in the cooking process. Safety concerns about hot oil and changing entertaining styles have made fondue seem dangerous and old-fashioned, relegating it to specialty restaurants and nostalgic memories. Chicken Tetrazzini. Named after an Italian opera singer, chicken Tetrazzini combined pasta, chicken, and mushrooms in a creamy casserole that fed large families economically while providing sophisticated flavors that impressed dinner guests. The dish transformed leftover chicken into elegant meals, stretching expensive protein with pasta and vegetables to create satisfying dinners on limited budgets. Preparation required skill in making smooth cream sauces and timing multiple components, but the results pleased everyone from children to grandparents. The golden, bubbly top created visual appeal that made humble ingredients look special and appetizing. Church potlucks and family reunions featured countless variations, each cook adding their own twist to the basic recipe. Modern convenience foods and busy schedules have replaced this homemade comfort food with processed alternatives that lack the love and care that made Tetrazzini special. Duck à l'orange. The most ambitious home cooks attempted duck à l'orange for special occasions, bringing French restaurant sophistication to their own dining rooms with varying degrees of success and occasional spectacular failures. The dish required multiple techniques, properly roasting duck to render fat while keeping meat moist, creating orange sauce that balanced sweet and savory flavors, and timing everything to finish simultaneously. Success meant restaurant-quality meals at home, impressing guests with exotic flavors and elegant presentations that demonstrated culinary skill and confidence. The rich, gamey flavor of duck, paired with bright citrus sauce, created sophisticated combinations that challenged American palates accustomed to chicken and beef. Preparation began days in advance with ordering special ingredients and planning complex cooking schedules. Modern busy lifestyles and preference for familiar foods have made this challenging dish increasingly rare in home kitchens, despite its impressive results when executed properly. Pot roast with vegetables. Sunday dinner meant pot roast slowly braising in the oven, while families got ready for church, filling the house with the kind of aroma that made everyone eager to come home. The tough, inexpensive cuts of beef became fork tender after hours of slow cooking, while carrots, potatoes, and onions absorbed all those rich, meaty flavors. Smart cooks started this meal early in the day, knowing that low and slow was the secret to transforming humble ingredients into something spectacular. The leftover gravy made perfect sauce for the vegetables, and any remaining meat became the foundation for Monday's hash or sandwiches. The whole house would smell like Sunday dinner from morning until evening, creating an atmosphere of warmth and anticipation that brought families together. This was the kind of meal that taught patience and planning, showing how time and care could transform tough cuts of meat into something tender and delicious. Shepherd's pie. Ground lamb or beef layered with vegetables and topped with creamy mashed potatoes created a complete meal in one dish that satisfied even the heartiest appetites. The meat was seasoned with herbs and cooked with onions and carrots until rich and flavorful, then spread in a baking dish and covered with a thick layer of buttery mashed potatoes. When baked, the potato topping turned golden brown and slightly crispy, while the meat mixture stayed moist and savory underneath. This was the kind of meal that proved simple ingredients, when treated with care and attention, could create something truly special and memorable. The British heritage of this dish connected American families to their roots, while the practical one-dish format suited busy modern lifestyles perfectly. Many mothers would make individual portions in ramekins, giving each family member their own personal shepherd's pie that felt special and carefully prepared. Fish sticks and French fries. Friday night fish became easy and kid-friendly when mothers discovered that frozen fish sticks and French fries could create a complete meal without any fuss or complicated preparation. The fish sticks were baked until golden and crispy, while the fries cooked alongside them in the same oven, making cleanup simple and efficient. Served with tartar sauce and ketchup, this meal satisfied both children and adults, while meeting the practical needs of busy families. It represented the beginning of convenience foods that would eventually transform American home cooking forever. Children loved the finger food aspect of this meal, while mothers appreciated having one night each week when dinner required minimal preparation and cleanup. The crunch of the golden coating and the flaky fish inside created textures that appealed to even the pickiest young eaters.